Hi, I'm the Rick and Rick Turns, and I'm here with another video on friction polish. Well, in my last video, I talked a lot about friction polish, and it was pretty long. I cut it short, and I left out one item that I really wanted to put in that video. So this is a real short video to cover one point, and that is how do you make friction polish that you can tell anybody this is absolutely unequivocally food safe. It hasn't even come near anything that might be poisonous. Okay, there is a way to do that with friction polish, and it's not that difficult really to do, although it's probably going to be more expensive than just mixing it up with regular boiled linseed oil and denatured alcohol. So regular friction polish, it really is food safe, even though the components here might have items in them that are not safe, but once it's applied and once it's cured, it's safe, it's food safe. But you've got eco-smart people coming in and looking at your plates or bowls that might come into contact with food, and they're saying, oh, gee, I know boiled linseed oil has metallic dryers in it. I don't want that. So how do you convince them? Well, you make your friction polish a little bit differently, and here's how. Incidentally, I have not tried out this mix, but I can't see any reason why it wouldn't work. So, number one, go out and buy shellac flakes, not shellac liquid. Shellac flakes are as pure as shellac is going to get, because that's the way it's manufactured in India or whatever, by hand incidentally. That's about as safe as it's going to get, and the FDA has approved shellac for use in food products. So start with shellac flakes. That's number one. Number two is, instead of using denatured alcohol, go to your local liquor store and buy 190 proof alcohol. Now, they may not have anything with that high an alcohol content that is 95% alcohol. I did read about some products or some alcohols, drinking alcohols online that are that high. That's what you want to get. If you can't get that, get as high an alcohol content as you can. The higher the better, because if it's only 50% alcohol, well, what's the other 50%? It's probably water. So you don't really want that. Go to the liquor store, buy 190 proof alcohol, mix that in with your shellac flakes to make your liquid shellac, and if you need to dilute it any further, use that to dilute it. Don't drink it while you're working on it. You're not going to have anything left. But it is safe to drink, since that's what it's sold for. The third component, instead of boiled linseed oil here, is to get polymerized linseed oil. There's a couple of sources for this, a couple of products that say Polymerize Linseed Oil, absolutely no additives, no metallic dryers, no volatile organics added to it. It is 100% pure linseed oil, and they heat treat it to turn it into the equivalent of boiled linseed oil so that it will dry. So, shellac flakes, drinking alcohol, polymerized linseed oil, every one of those is 100% pure, no additives. And you can put that on your food items, wood turning items, and then you can say positively, hey, nothing in this finish will hurt you. And they might believe you when you tell them about it, if you're really trying to convince them. Okay, there's one other consideration. The polymerized linseed oil, I only found one manufacturer of that. Well, I found two, but I only found one manufacturer that I could buy the stuff from. The first one is tried and true Danish Oil, and I found that on Woodcraft's wood site, and I found it on Lee Valley Tools wood site and Amazon, and I found it on Klingspor's website, and I found it on Hartville Tool website. So it is available, although you may have to pay shipping. The prices for that vary quite a bit. The lowest price I saw was at Klingspor's for $13 a quart. And then from Lee Valley and Woodcraft and Hartville Tool, they all came in around $21, $22 a quart on it. And Amazon, unfortunately, was the highest at $30 a quart. Now, the other product that I found that it says is absolutely pure, 100% polymerized linseed oil is Dap Wood Linseed Oil. Now, Dapwood is a furniture company, and I believe they're selling that as a furniture polish or a wood reviver or something like that. But they do go into detail on their website saying this is 100% pure, it has no metallic dryers, it has nothing else in it except linseed oil, and we polymerized it by heating. Now, unfortunately, I could not find a source for Dapwood linseed oil. You might be able to buy it from the manufacturer, I'm not sure, but I couldn't find any of my normal wood turning sources carrying it, or Amazon, or anywhere else. Take a look at the links below the video. I'm putting links in there for the tried and true Danish oil, for the Dapwood linseed oil, etc. There's one other product you might want to consider instead of boiled linseed oil or polymerized linseed oil, and that is tung oil. And if you're finishing your wood turnings that might be come into contact with food with tung oil, that really sounds a lot better than boiled linseed oil, you know. People have heard of tung oil. Tung oil used to only come from China. I don't know if it still does or not, but it's also called China tree oil. I found a lot of sources for 100% pure tung oil. And I followed those sources back to the manufacturer's websites, and I looked at what they had to say, and I looked at their material safety data sheets on it. And yeah, it's 100% pure tung oil. Nothing else in it. There's no metallic dryers. There's no volatile organic compounds in there. It's 100% tung oil. And it's safe to use as a food-safe finish. Now, the reason you might want to use this is it's readily available. And it sounds cool, but it's readily available. I found a number of products for 100% tung oil, real milk paint, pure tung oil. I looked at their website. They got a very good website discussing it and how it is safe to use. And I found it for sale at Amazon. I didn't really look anywhere else, but it is for sale at Amazon for about $16 a quart. And that compares pretty favorably with the polymerized linseed oil. I found another product called Wood River Tung Oil, and I found it at Woodcraft for $14 a quart. And they also say 100%, no dryers, nothing added to it. Safe to use for items that come in contact with food. Hope's 100% tung oil, also 100%. I found that at Amazon for about $18 a quart. Master's Blend, or Masterpieces Blend, I'm not quite sure, tung oil. It is 100%, and they discuss the fact that they don't use anything else but tung oil. There's no dryers or anything in it. And finally, I found one called Southern Wells Limited Tung Oil. And a bonus to this is they have one that's actually called Botanical Pure Tung Oil. Now, if you're trying to sell a food usage wood turning to someone, and you tell them it's got only botanical polymerized tung oil in it, wow, that sounds good. How could it possibly hurt anybody if it's botanical? Well, it could, of course, but hey, you know. But it is pure tung oil, and it'll work great. It's not poisonous. So, the other thing, keep in mind, even using this blend of all 100% natural ingredients with no additives, you want to let your product cure before you sell it as food safe. And the curing times I found were all over the place. I believe it was Mylan's friction polish recommended 5 to 7 days. And I think Wax recommended 3 weeks for their friction polish. I couldn't find anything really definitive on that. So, you know, let your food usage wood turnings cure for a week or 2 weeks before you try and sell them. And then you should be able to say, yep, this finish is absolutely unequivocally food safe. Okay, a couple other things I just want to mention from my last video. A couple of people left me comments, and Alan mentioned that he had his in a sauce squeeze bottle for 3 years, and it still worked for him. Okay, that's good to know, Alan. Thanks. And Louis pointed out a big advantage of mixing your own friction polish is you can mix a very small quantity. If you buy it, you're going to probably have to buy 16 ounces or 32 ounces or something like that. But if you mix your own, you can mix up like 3 ounces at a time. And if you don't use it and maybe it goes bad in 3 months or 6 months, you throw it away. You're not losing very much money there. Whereas you pay $30 or more for a quart of friction polish or a pint of friction polish, whatever it is, and you throw it away, you've wasted a good bit of money there. So you might want to keep that in mind. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video.